Welcome to Comic-Con, everybody. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having us.
It's funny what a difference a year makes, you know, with what this show was and what it's become. It's so cerebral, it's so complex, it's something that American audiences, or audiences in general, aren't given a lot of credit for getting into now. So I would love to hear your perspective on what the response has been and how surprising it's been to see just how diverse the group of people you've attracted.
I live in London, and we shoot this in Vancouver, and I got back and I was really taken back by the response. People would come up to me and they love it for many different reasons. I think it's not only a sort of period piece. It has science fiction elements, and there's a lot of us, and different worlds. There's the Reich and the Pacific states, and I think everybody loves different bits, and everybody enjoys it.
I get a lot of kind of bizarre fans because I get a lot. I get a lot of kind of messages from very neo-Nazi kind of people who tend to want to talk to me about that and relate to me on that level. So that's a little weird. Other than that, the response has been pretty good. Yeah, I think. Like Rupert said, it's an intriguing show.
But Philip K. Dick obviously attracts a genre crowd because of his science fiction stuff and all that, but this is such a different cut of beef for him. When you first got a hold of it, were you familiar with the material at all, or was it something that you kind of got to take in right then and there in terms of Man in the High Castle?
I wasn't, I hadn't read it, but fortunately, because I just came in this season, so I got to see the whole first season, which was great. That was my introduction to it.
When I read it, I was just blown away by the idea of, what if, and it turns history on its head. But what amazed me is, there are certain events in history that if it had gone one way or the other, things could be very different. And I think this book reimagines that, and it just caught my imagination. And I think it catches a lot of people's, imagination. There's so much going on in our world, isn't there, now? And I think, it could go one way or the other. And this book and our TV show, I hope, sort of shows a world that it could easily have been, and it's just crazy that decisions are made on a knife edge, and I think the show kind of brings that to the front.
Scarily there's too much going on right now.
I think they should show this show in high schools, you know what I mean? Just to kind of give the kids a different perspective so that they can see, what could have happened and what, still could happen, actually, you know what I mean?
I think it's really interesting. A lot of fans come up to me, are really kind of fascinated by the idea of living in an occupied country, in an occupied world where before, a war, it's your country, and now you're treated like a third, second, third class citizen.
Yeah. Well, have a great con. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to seeing the fans react to your stuff today, this afternoon.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Thanks.